Actually talking at this meeting with Moby, who disappeared.
Yeah, he's like where did he go?
Stage fright.
I think it's all on
Yeah.
you.
And the technology's not working. What am I going to do with myself? How do I actually get this TV on, though?
Where's Jake? Maybe we do need to have a couple minutes.
Tonight we're going to introduce the studio and kind of like soft opened it a month ago with Todd and everyone here. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about what our vision is for the podcasting network we're building so that we can promote all the awesome stuff that's going on here through Media Tech Ventures and our long-term vision for that. And then we're also going to show off how to use it and record a how-to video for everyone on how to use the equipment so that when you come in here you'll feel very comfortable using the podcast studio that's right back there. I don't think we've still gotten a battery for the remote to turn the on and air sign on and off, so we'll have to do that too. But eventually you're even going to be able to declare you're on air, which would be great. Something happened.
It's getting there.
Cool.
There we go. Do you want me to jump in or do you want to interview yourself?
No, let's talk.
Okay, cool. Hello, I was in the bathroom, that was great. How's everyone?
Timing.
What?
Perfect timing.
I know! It's weird when you walk in a room, everyone's looking at you slowly like, where the hell were you? It's great. So today, as Andrew said, we're going to be talking about the network, a little bit about MediaTek, about the show, and more importantly, how to get you this equipment and how you can easily access it. Because we launched, what, 3 weeks ago? When was this? When did this launch?
Yeah, late October.
It was a month ago, the last meetup here.
No, late September. Sorry,
Late
since it is
September,
late
yeah.
October. Literally about a month ago, we opened up a podcast studio thanks to the great support of Galvanize here in Austin. We talked with them. Thought it was going to be a great idea to bring people into the Galvanize space because people love podcasting, and we also thought a co-working space is a place where community is built, and we wanted our podcasting community to have a core central place. We're looking to launch a few other podcast studios eventually, just so people from all over the city can eventually get involved in this. We're really, really happy with the outcome of this. This has been excellent. Galvanize is a huge supporter.
Yeah.
And so that brings us to tonight.
Perfect. So who is this studio for?
The studio is for really anyone who wants to record high-quality audio. So it's the podcast studio. Mostly podcasters will want to record high-quality audio. But we can also use it for all the startups that we have in Austin, all the young companies that need to record scripts, voiceovers for their marketing videos. It's a room that has sound deadening involved and high-quality mics with filters that keep all the pops off. So you can really record anything you'd like, and that's available freely to anyone in the Austin area for all audio recording.
So, quick show of hands, who here hasn't launched their podcast but are looking to? Cool. So assuming everyone else has a podcast, thanks. And just to give you an example, I came in here today at 11:15 was my interview. I came in at 11, set it up, popped in my SD card, interviewed them for about an hour, and then popped out the SD card and I walked off. And it was beautiful, not having to take care of a lot of stuff. So walk me through the website. What are the options that we're looking at right now in terms of getting on the air and booking studio time?
Yeah, so let's take a step back a second and talk about this on-air symbol. Basically the goal, and one of the things we find is a problem with podcasts, are you subscribe to one, you haven't heard it before, you look at it, you read the description, you say, I want to subscribe to that podcast. And after you're done with that, you choose another podcast based on the description. So there are podcast networks out there that produce a variety of shows, but there's not really a way to get introduced to podcasts that are outside of what you're already interested in. One of the cool things about radio, and like NPR and a lot of talk show based radio, is there's a variety of shows, and you can stop listening to one and then start getting into a new topic. There's a variety of value there and community building. The other thing is podcasts are time shifted. So if I listen to a podcast and my roommate listens to a podcast and we listen to them a week apart, well, we're not going to have a good conversation about that. I'll remember it in detail because I listened to it 2 minutes ago, and he'll remember very little of it other than the general theory. We can't have a conversation about it. We have a lot of ways to synchronously chat now, Slack, Facebook. What we need now is some audio playing, our podcast playing, so we can have real-time conversation about that. So podcasts are great because they're time shifting, but we'd like to also give a place where these podcasts can be viewed eternally and then kind of have conversation about it. So that is the intro to why we built this website. The website here has the big on-air, blinking on-air button, and if you click that link, you actually launch the Startup Studio player.
Hey Todd, woohoo!
And we've got one of our podcast partners on our radio station. So right now we're listening to a episode from Go Hunt Life from Todd. We want to end up featuring on here pretty much podcasts from generally any category that has something to do with Texas or something to do with startups and media. Media Tech Ventures is the one sponsoring this, and the goal is to support creators in media and technology in Texas ecosystem specifically. So if you have a podcast, we'll talk a little bit how to get supported on here.
Sounds good. And who are these guys? These are your partners right now?
Yeah, so these guys are our partners here. This good-looking guy, Moby, is interviewing me now. He ran the Austin Fire Show, rebranded as the Fire Show. Todd, Go Hunt Life, both of them Austin natives. Bach talks a lot about the experience of being an Austin native. He's had a podcast going that's incredibly regular, has over 200 episodes on Austin nightlife and culture. And then David is actually out of Australia. So one of the other things that we're looking to do with Media Tech is build Texas and Texas as a market, but also build extensions into other countries so that local people here can have these international extensions. We've worked with Colombia, we've worked with Ireland, we've worked with Australia, Canada, a few other places. Some foreign, some fairly similar to the United States.
Yeah. One cool thing about Bach is that he did this nightlife podcast for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, like 200 episodes, right? And then he kind of stopped doing it and used his connections in every place in Austin to start a business, which basically you pay a certain amount of money and you have a date planned for you with a pickup, dinner, concert using his connections. So he actually didn't monetize his podcast. He did monetize his podcast, but used those connections over years to build a product, which I think launched on the first page of Statesman when it launched. So that was a great actual business story from this. So tell me about what do you see in terms of getting other people on this podcast radio? What's the process of that?
Yeah, so the way to get on the air, you all are all in Texas, and right now we're in Austin. So we're talking about here in Austin. I don't want to make this only about Austin, though. The point of Media Tech is that the entire region of Texas needs to work together, and one of the ways to do that is by giving us a technology and media radio station about that. So to get on the air, if you have a show, submit your show. Just click this link and it'll take you to a form where you can give us all the information you need. Your website, details about your show. I or a member of my team will contact you, figure out, we can download your show from iTunes and pop it up on our radio station and have it rolling within a few days. If you want to interview somebody or be interviewed, also sign up here. Just give us what the information you want about being interviewed or being on a podcast would be like. Again, we want to feature everybody. Media Tech has kind of made a habit now of having these weeks where we book the studio and we just have people in to talk about all kinds of things.
How many did we have last time? 40? 30
Yeah,
people?
I think we had 32 people come in the studio over 1 week during Startup Week. And Media Tech Week's coming up in 2 weeks. So if you have a podcast and you'd like us to just interview you, talk about how it's been to podcast, what you'd like the studio to become, and then get some more press, come in, interview with us during Media Tech Week. And then the wonderful thing for everyone who raised their hands when Moby said, do you want to start a podcast? Book time or record. It can cost $200, $300 to get the equipment to run a high quality podcast. We're going to give you a way to do that for free just by showing up downtown. It's a great place to interview other people. Should I walk through that?
Yeah, can you walk through the website?
Yeah, so did you all see that he clicked book a time to record?
Yeah.
Okay. Very easy to use. This is how you book, and this gets sent right to Galvanize. You click your date for the day you need it on or after. So basically, your whenever the date you need it on, or a couple days after.
Okay.
What days work for you best over the next 2 weeks? What time you can start from and end from, and then you click next. It's very simple.
4 hours. Whoa. Okay.
Then you get a selection of hour times to take up. Book it in hour increments. What we'll do then is we'll send you a link afterwards with your booked time. So like confirm for 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock. There you go. You fill out your name, email, any notes about the podcast you're going to have. Send that over to us, and we will actually then send you a confirmation email. You'll be booked on the Galvanize calendar. If you need to book 2 hours at a time, just let us know in the notes, and we can make that happen too. This is a trust-based system. Galvanize has been excellent to let you not only come in here and use the podcast studio, you can do some prep work in here. They want to show off their community. They're incredibly friendly people. Use Galvanize as a resource, but don't abuse Galvanize as a resource. So if you're going to spend 20 hours in here a week or 10 hours in here a week, that's probably not playing by the fair game. For anyone who needs to do 2 to 4 hours a week, let's talk. Keep doing it. If you're bringing cool people into this facility, Galvanize loves that. They're all about creating community, and that's what we're doing with this site.
Do I have to be on your on the radio show in order to do this?
Oh yeah, good question. No, and there's also no obligations to like put this on our network. So we do want everyone in here to submit their show to our radio station, the online radio station. We're going to create chat channels for that too, so everyone can talk about what's on there and kind of create a community in Texas around media and technology. But that's not obligation. This is no obligation. You come in, and in a second we're going to run through exactly how to use all the equipment. But it's very simple, no obligation, free use for the studio.
Cool. Before we jump into more of the equipment, and Todd's going to jump into that. We talked about this last time, right? Promotion was a big problem for podcasts. Because what can you do? Tell your friends, listen to my fucking show, and then 10 listen, and then kind of you have to tweet and Facebook. And we can talk about promotion, but I'm going to ask from a selfish reason. Tell me how this is going to help me promote my show down the line, 2 years down the line, like the vision to help everyone else in this room.
Yeah, so the vision for Media Tech Ventures is, again, the California Silicon Valley area is about 100 miles in length, and it's a valley. And then we come to Texas and we have Dallas area, Dallas-Fort Worth, they can have their own area. Then you got Austin, you got San Antonio, then you got Houston, and no one really connects between there. They all have their own focuses, energy in Houston, finance in Dallas. What we really want to do is build a network between all these cities and turn it into its own type of valley, the Rio Grande Valley. The promotional ability that Media Tech has is we host events here in Austin monthly. We started last month with our first event in San Antonio, and we're going to continue with that next month. We're going to end up starting events and building communities in all of these cities. Within 9 months of launching Media Tech Ventures in Austin, we have over 1,500 fans on Facebook and people that we can post our content out to. A reach of over 10,000 people a month via organic Facebook posts. And we really want to feature all of you. And content on our site we want to feature. So the promotional ability is, A, we want to have a radio station that has good content. And we'll curate what's on our channel. We're not going to put everyone's every episode on there. We're going to put your best episodes. We're going to, beyond that, we're also going to promote the shows that are on there and create a way for people to chat about that so people can get their instant gratification and build a network around that. And then we're going to have live events to support all of this and really bring out these entrepreneurs that are having these shows, they're talking about this stuff, and get them together in a real fashion off of social media.
Great answer. Thanks for letting me put you on the spot. One last part. We talked last time about pods. Was anyone not here last time? Cool. So we talked about this idea of pods. Well, a lot of young creatives started off in like video or necessarily audio. They all know each other. It's all on network. And what they did was, whenever someone would put a piece of content, even a video, a podcast, everyone would share. So it would be a pod where everyone would say, hey, this is my latest episode. Can you 7 or 8 or 20 please post this to your network? So it grows organically. And we talked about we could segment our podcast in this town by niches: society, entrepreneurship, local people. So what we have right now, who is not in the Facebook group? I'm assuming everyone is? Cool. So we'll add you. There is an Excel sheet which has almost every podcast in town. If your podcast is not on there, put it there. There are categories, please add them there. Have you seen it? Has anyone seen that at this point? Okay. We have 2 options going on. We have about 25 podcasts on that, and we're going to increase to probably 30 in 4 or 5 different categories. The 2 options for pods are, number 1, we create 5-6 different email threads in which every single person within that niche shares an episode when they're released that. The second is, every Monday in the show we post something like, Promote Yourself Monday, post your latest episode, and please, whoever watches it, whoever listens to it, promote the show that you liked from other podcasters. Which one would you prefer at this point? Cool. You can speak.
Number 2.
Number 2. Okay, why?
I think it seems more engaging.
Simpler too?
And simpler too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're just posting on the Facebook group on Monday?
Just one thread, no more else, yeah.
Gotcha.
No more saying my event is at 8 p.m. today, come watch the live podcast.
So we make a post in the Facebook group, and then everyone comments with their latest episode, title, and then a link to it that people can share on their page. Is that
Yes.
the idea?
That's simple. The other option also is to... No, that's too complicated. Never mind. Any thoughts about that, Todd? Should we do it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
My vote's Monday, but does anybody else have any other days
Pressing things?
that are preferred? Friday's rolling into the weekend.
Dan is raising his muscular arms and about to say something.
Well, so Ryan and I just came back to Witchbit Summit and learned a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the great speakers who was there was on podcasting. And he said the algorithm on podcasting, which you guys probably already know, is the most views you can get within a 24-hour period. That's what iTunes app is. So if you go do a Monday, so what I plan to do is we record on Monday and we're gonna launch on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe just, yes, I'll say go download on Thursday, don't download today, because I want all my downloads to be on one day versus that. So that's where I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm confused with this because I'd like to do that, but maybe
Can you
we
pin the post each week so that you
Yeah.
can post your link on Thursday
Yeah.
and not on Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Todd?
Is that I'm trying to make sure it's all not muddied up
Right.
on all the posts is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
avoid.
So what would
What
happen
happens if it's the day after you forgot to post?
Yeah.
It's pinned.
So we get notifications, all of us get notifications every single day then. Like someone just commented on this.
If you like it to follow, right? Or if you
Yeah, if you comment.
Yeah.
What do y'all think of that?
Well, actually, that's not a bad idea. A pinned post of the week, and when your episode publishes up, you go to the pinned post and you
That
drop
way
it
if you
in,
like it or
and
comment,
then
you get that notification that you don't otherwise.
yeah, okay,
The only challenge, I think you only have one pinned post to
at a
approve.
time.
Yeah,
But
it'll be one at a
A
time.
new one every week, right?
yeah, next week's the new
You
pin.
say you wouldn't be able to pin another post to the group.
Yeah.
The rules that are out there now.
We can put that in the info.
Yeah.
So you just unpin it and pin the next one the next
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just, I think that like, the general rules, the revised rules are like pinned right now,
Yep.
so people aren't just posting all the time.
Sure.
And so you wouldn't have that pinned anymore.
Yeah, that
You'd
helps.
have to-
Because then also you won't have like 30 episodes to listen to on
Yeah,
Monday
really?
and ruin your entire week because you're so stressed.
Okay.
It is pinned.
Well, listen to all of it. Yeah.
That's
Cool.
what I do next.
Any comments on that? Especially
Okay.
from people who did not hear about the pods last time?
I have a
So
question
I-
about that, actually.
Yeah, I would say the question.
Yes.
So I want to understand better how this is gonna work. So we have a post and we are gonna comment with our episodes, and then what is next? Like we share whatever we like. Or,
So now with this discussion, we've moved on to one thread. You or I, or Mark now, who's an admin, starts it every Monday, and you post your episode when it comes out in a comment.
Yeah.
That week only. And then every Monday we start a new thread. So when your episode comes out, you post, "Hey, my episode came out today," so it fits the 24-hour window to get that.
How do I, as someone looking at that page, go and share there? Like, where is my obligation to help promote that and share
Yeah.
it? Is that sharing on my Facebook page? Is it going to Instagram? Like, where can we help to
So
drive that traffic?
here's another option. So instead of saying, "Hey, this is an episode I did," www.gohuntlife.com/52, we could ask everyone, and this could be enforced, is you give us 2 share links, which is, if you're a podcaster, you go into, I'll give the URL, you put your post in, your URL in, and it creates another link, which you click on, and it automatically opens up a Facebook shareable post.
Like that.
For
So-
my podcast? Or
For any podcast.
Okay.
So we ask everyone, if you have an episode coming out, you go into that tool, post your episode link, and what comes out is, and what you post on the thread is, one link which you click, and I suddenly have it on my profile page. Hey, whatever you put on as the description, and the link, and the image, if it's applicable, and I click post.
I guess there's two, what you were saying, like, if I post a link to my episode, great, that person, or people in that thread will click on it, maybe review it,
Yeah.
listen to it, but I also kind of want
One-
Facebook shares, which you can't track if they're just clicking on the episode link.
Yeah.
Not to mention between iTunes, Google Play.
So this was the thing that I mentioned, well, it gets too complicated, but yeah.
So you're sharing a shared link.
Shared link, yeah.
Commenting a shared link.
Yes, not a link to the episode itself.
Gotcha.
Which-
That's where I was.
So
Cool.
you get more social media share, not necessarily listens directly
Yeah.
from that one person or two people that click on it in the thread. Right?
That's a better idea.
awesome.
I don't have enough more ideas. Please add something. It'll be better.
Could you walk through the idea of the pods? You did a really good job last month of talking about that. Just where that comes out into and what that looks like in the end. Just for
Sure.
those who weren't here, I think.
So the concept that I've heard is in two ways. Number one, it was people who started doing video a lot on Facebook when Facebook started out. Is when someone would post a video from LA, and these people would all be in LA, same age, they like the same stuff, same stupid things like when Bay does this, ha 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 ha. So they would have these videos. One person posts a video, and 7 people shared instantly, saying, "Hey, follow this," to their own fan pages. That's the concept. With podcasting, it can be something like if there's 7 entrepreneurship podcasts in town, 7 of them, in the ideal world, share the new episode by Go Hunt Life. If it's about entrepreneurship. But we're not moving into that niched sharing. We're just going, Austin, share your people's podcasts. Here's a link that you can click once. It will be on your personal page or page. We got to figure it out, but we'll talk
So
about
it's
it.
a multiplying effect. for
Multiplying,
sharing.
exactly.
That sounds great. When you post the share link, you should probably post like a title and a topic so that people will know what they're interested in, what their friends would be interested in. My friends generally would not be interested in a fashion podcast, or and only very few percentage of my friends also have children. Although I like people with children too. Just that would go past 20% of my only 20% of my friends. So I would know to share something more entrepreneurship related. So kind of if you give a topic or something like that, people can share things more relevant and feel more confident that they're sharing.
We'll work on a template.
Because if it's only sharing that one particular podcast, you don't know what your friends might want to share. That they might be interested in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
You know,
It sounds like you don't just share just one, right? You share whatever you enjoy.
yeah, you don't have to
Oh,
share.
yeah.
We're not saying share everything by everyone every Monday. That's not what it is. That would be terrible, horrible. Cool. Perfect. Otherwise,
So I want to talk one more thing about
Yes.
the radio. We will be launching a place for people to discuss what's live on the radio. Please send us your shows. The website link is startupstudioshow.com. Startupstudioshow.com. We're going to have live links on a lot of our social media pages. We're still playing with what platforms to run the radio on, so it's still kind of in beta until we can find out the best way to do this. There's a lot of licensing issues with any form of radio that we're still dealing with. Eventually, we'd love to monetize this for our partners and our people on our podcast. Right now, it's just we're promoting your show. If you have any ads built into your show, those will also run, and we can try to get you play counts throughout the month. I don't know if we can get actual listener counts per episode, but we can try for stuff like that. Yeah, but we really do want all your shows. We want to promote you. We'd love to interview you as well. Sign up to both give us your show and put it on air. I'll listen to a lot of your episodes, and I'll curate the best so that they can be interesting to our audience. And then also sign up to get an interview. We're going to have that studio booked November 6th through 9th. And we'd love to interview you all, especially if you already have a podcast. You've talked with a lot of interesting people. You have a lot of interesting things to share with us. So come on in.
A quick question. I think you might have answered this. Do you only want shows submitted that are focused around tech or startups?
No. Anything in Texas is fine.
Okay.
If it's outside of Texas, we definitely want to focus on tech and startups. So we're not gonna. We got a friend in Australia.
Okay, cool.
That he's tech and startups, so he can be on.
Cool. And I guess before we transition on to Todd and Mark giving a great explanation of the equipment, because they helped me. What are y'all podcasts? Let's just go around the room, 30 seconds, talk about what your show is.
Yeah. Intros.
Cool. You want me to start?
Yes.
Yes. That's all I want to do. I'm good. So, yeah.
I was gonna say, after me, we're done.
I can leave now. So my show is Tactics for Early Stage Entrepreneurs. 6 months before launch, 12 months after launch, just to talk about sales, finding a problem, getting your first customers, and actually building something that people want. Got the mayor on there, director of South by Southwest, entrepreneurs from Capital Factory in Austin, and it's fairly new, and it's called The Fire Show. Probably should have mentioned that before.
Why the fire show?
I like the emoji.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
No podcast right now. I'm Jake. I work here at Galvanize. Worked with Todd and Paul and everyone here to really make this happen. Don't have one right now. I think in the future we may be looking at launching a content series around Galvanize and tech education, web development, data science, entrepreneurship. So still kind of workshopping that right now. We're going to take it one thing at a time and really try to make this come to life. And so please let us know feedback-wise how we can make this. This is a community space. We want you guys to use it as much as possible. And so any way we can make it better, please let us know. So yeah, no podcast right now.
Cool.
My name's Kevin. I'm the host of the Searching for Shame podcast. I've been up and running for about 2 months now. I describe it as a variety podcast, talk a lot about dating, online dating, politics, have some fun and shenanigans. So if you get bored for a few minutes, feel free to check us out. We're on iTunes and all that good stuff.
Place with the mozzarella sticks and the goofy shit on the wall?
It is not. Not related. That sounds good.
Shenanigans.
Hey, I'm Leah. I'm a landscape designer here in town, and I want to do a podcast. I haven't started a podcast, but I'm thinking about doing a podcast about gardening, environmental issues, and plants. But something not so much like a how-to garden, more something kind of like the Sporkful, where you kind of look at topics that are interesting, kind of like, there's a lot of food podcasts like that, but there's not any podcasts about gardening like that right now that I know of. And so that's what I'm thinking about doing.
Yeah, I've got 4 guests for you if you ever want to.
Yeah,
That great?
I'd love to hear what they are.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've got one too.
I have one too.
Okay.
We got a studio for you too.
Anyone a graphic designer? Let's just do it right now. What was the name? Have you thought of a name?
No, the working title right now is Garden Variety, because it's like variety show, right? Garden Variety. But I don't know. I've gotten like mixed reactions to that from people, so I don't know.
Cool. My name is Steven Rosenberg. Mine is called Influencer Media, and I focus on micro-influencers here in Austin, but also like anywhere else, and try to give them a platform to understand how they grow, and how to like further them and connect them with other people that are micro-influencers coming up. Yeah.
My name is Mark Williams, so I run the Meetup group of the Austin podcasters. If I have not met you and you're from the Meetup group, hello. Hi. I run 2 podcasts. The first I do for work is called The Admins of Atlassian. So it focuses on teaching administrators of our project or of our products how to get the best out of the tools, tips and best practices and things of that nature. And then the second podcast that I do is called Atex This, and it's a meta view of me trying to start my own publishing and production company to create my own narrative fiction podcast and audio dramas.
It's heavy duty. Todd Nevin's Go Hunt Life podcast, inspiring life hunters to pull the ripcord on their lives that they hate to pursue the life of their dreams. So I interview people that are on a stuck, straight and narrow path for 10, 20, 30 years into their careers, pull the ripcord, and completely reinvent and pursue a life that they had always dreamed of.
Wow. That was really concise, Todd.
He's done that before.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Alexander Norden. I go by AJ sometimes, and I do a podcast. It's called Psychological Warfare. It's not violent in nature, but it's about a lot about politics, and the way I like to describe it the most is the way I listen to Howard Stern growing up. And it's like you're hanging out. It's like you're hanging out, and we talk a lot about the daily news and what I think are the most pressing issues at the time.
Yeah, I don't have a podcast. She does. I just help her.
You teach them to
So I'm Shankar, and this is Pooja. She's my wife, and she started a podcast called Wheatish. So she'll continue.
Shankar is my COO. I have my podcast is Wheatish. It's basically wheat-ish, like brownish or blackish wheatish. It's an Indian coined English word. It's about immigrants. I am a first-generation immigrant myself. I've been here 8 years now, and so it's about people like me. And I have 2 episodes out, working on the 3rd. And yeah, that's about it. Go check me out. It's on iTunes. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, it's Wheatish.org. I like my logo. That's really the best part of I think the podcast. If you go to the homepage, no, that was the only thing I paid for.
What is the word?
Well, I paid for Wheatish, like wheat.
That's
great. But what is it referring to?
Oh, it's so in India we use wheatish kind of as a
it's a way to say
replacement
that
of brown.
like
the
no,
color
it's
of the
actually
skin.
more like to say that you're more fair brown.
Like white brown, because
so,
we're obsessed with skin color in India.
Right.
And so nobody wants to say you're dark or black, and so everyone kind of falls under that wheatish category, which is like neither white nor black.
So it's Swedish.
Right. It's Swedish.
So they're trying to sell
it's like the color of wheat.
They're like,
I really like
Who is next?
I haven't started my podcast yet. I'm just learning how to create a cohesive storyline and all that kind of jazz for a podcast. Getting really good ideas here, learning equipment, etc. My goal is to start a podcast focused on minority entrepreneurs and how to help them level up. How to rethink success is not just like a bottom line revenue goal, but like an overall mental and body like healthy, holistic thing. So I would essentially want to make it easier for minorities, especially black males, to kind of redefine masculinity, level up, try some things that they've never done before, like yoga, therapy, etc.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's worth it.
I'm Brittany, and I have 2 podcasts. One is already old news. It's called Another Vegan Podcast. It's like a comedy variety show about veganism with nothing heavy in it. I like to say at least. But the other one we're starting very soon. I want to start fresh just to see what this studio sounds like. It's called the Fork Yeah Foodcast. Are you kidding? Hi. I'm interviewing this guy soon. Fork Yeah Foodcast is a storytelling podcast for people that are interested in food and culinary stuff. We take any kind of story and associate it with food, with you, and that's what it is. Anyway, I'm a big fan of Rick's. The Fork Yeah.
Fork Yeah.
Fork Yeah. Fork Yeah.
Like Fork Yeah. It's not a thing yet. We have like a Facebook page for that.
Okay, I'm just buying the domain.
Good thing I'm really rich.
I'm gonna charge you $13 for this.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I'm Jason. I do not have a podcast, and I don't really have one in progress or anything like that. Just kind of here checking it out. It's possible I might want to use the facility for some other kind of recording.
That sounds weird.
It could be, yeah.
First guess a little bit.
See how quiet it is?
Just some white noise.
It is Halloween.
But yeah, everything looks really cool.
We'll go next. Okay, my name is Giacomo Ravo. My podcast is The Accent of Us. I just launched. It was like the launch episode, so it's not an interview. This week I'm gonna launch an interview that I had with Angelo Sangelo, who is the founder of International Accelerator. So my podcast focuses on international startup founders, entrepreneurs, professionals. They work more like technology industry, and I'm gonna share their stories how they came to the U.S. So it's great that you're also doing that on
I saw your
about
podcast, yeah.
immigrants and
Competition.
No, it's not. But it's basically, I'm gonna tell stories of people that started companies moving here, or they started careers, and they are, they brought value.
They contribute.
Yeah, they contribute to the economy. And
I stay away from tech because pretty much all Indians are in tech. And if I stick with it, then that's all my podcast will be about.
Yeah.
We're clear.
I don't have a podcast. I the founder of foundingaustin.com is a magazine for a full year now, where we go interview founders all over Austin and tell the story of Austin. So we are looking at doing a couple of podcasts. One's called, named we're playing with is House of Founders, and really would be kind of a happy hour afterwards for a few professionals talking about the interview and what we learned from it. And the other one might be called the Founders Riff, which we actually will bring in. The other thing I've done is for 18 years I've been a financial advisor, so I have a lot of business advice and stuff like that. So in that case, I'd bring in someone that's been in for 1 or 2 years and just give them ideas on how to launch or get to the next level with their businesses. So.
I'm Sean. By trade, I am a software executive recovering developer. I'm a customer of Atlassian. Not going to be listening to the admin podcast anytime soon because I'm not an admin, thank God. My podcast is called Rebase, rebase.show. It is, the name is centered around a software command, and it's all about basically work-life integration, and it is a result of my experience basically anywhere you turn, tripping over another entrepreneurship podcast, and my podcast is more about helping people to rediscover fulfillment and passion in their work life, because it's a firm belief of mine that not everybody should quit their job and start a new company. A lot of people are better off being employees, being entrepreneurs, being freelancers, but they maybe are not satisfied by their work. When they get asked what do you do for a living, they kind of sigh heavily and then tell you what their job is. So it is really about interviewing people and providing tools and helping people uncover tools to tagline, upgrade your career and transform your life. Or sorry, transform your career, upgrade your life. Really interchangeable. Launched about a month ago, a little over a month ago. Have a whopping 800 downloads and streams, which I was very pleased with for a month. And I'm about to launch the full episode 6 here once I have time to finish editing and publishing. So largely focused right now on promotion, as well as making sure I don't lag on content creation, which has been a bit of a challenge having a 60-hour-week job.
Mm-hmm. Your website's down too, so get that.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, more work. Amazing.
But there's the cached version.
Yeah, it's Rebase Show, all one word on Instagram, Facebook. I'm going to have to contact my web host.
So I'm Joe, and I don't have a podcast yet. It's taking me a while to sort of form, let's say, congeal my passions and things that I'm interested in that, for me, are more all-encompassing. I'm a dancer, a musician most of my life, and my biggest passion in terms of dancing and music is rhythm. So my interest in creating podcasts is around rhythm, and that can be, it's rhythm in terms of science and technology and every part of it that's a part of our life, from the science part of the sun and the moon setting, algorithms, dance, tap dance. I'm a flamenco dancer. I'm trying to imagine now how to sort of keep it local, or let's say Texas oriented. Of course, there's a lot of musical options for that. Drum circles, a lot of different things, but really to kind of encompass a broader range, interview people that do sort of live in the realm of rhythm in a more obvious way every day. And I'm looking for some, because I'm clearly and obviously not an extrovert, so I'm looking for a partner to work with that might be more of an extrovert, but has similar interests.
All right, I'm going. Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm working towards launching a podcast on personal development through the lens of yoga, mindfulness practices, and spirituality.
It's called Universally Seeking, and I'm looking to gather a mixture of obviously spiritual leaders, yoga teachers, medical professionals, even your friends and neighbors to just form I don't have a URL. I have the domain, but I don't have the website up. Just to form a broader conversation about, the ideas that people have in their head about what yoga is, what mindfulness is, and how people access spiritual connection or some sort of higher truth. And eventually I look to gather a global community of seekers, and with the understanding that, everyone's seeking the same thing, just the way we access it is a little different.
Cool.
Nice.
My name is Ryan. I will be helping Dan with his podcast, and I hope to partake in a bunch of that. But I've been looking into podcasts for quite some time, and I'm a chef by trade, and I've worked at some really, really awesome restaurants here in town, and I have connections to some high-profile chefs, and I think it'd be cool to do a restaurant podcast and get some badass chefs.
Yeah.
And talk about what nobody knows that those guys work 18 hours a day, 6 days a week, and they're like profit margins are like 15%. So
there's a rhythm to that.
there's a rhythm to that. There's definitely a rhythm to line cooking. Friday night line cooking. That's if you're not in rhythm, you're going down. But I have an idea for that. I'm a creator as well, so I want to take on more things and influence more people in a positive way. It really doesn't matter what you want to do. It's just, get people on the air that are doing things so people can take inspiration from that and do their thing. That's kind of what I like. So
The winner of the Food Olympics lives in Austin now.
Really?
Yeah, Matt Peters. He's doing viewing.
Yeah, I'd love that. I mean, I have some big ones to start off, so that might be a good kickoff. It's sustaining it, because
yeah, it's a shit ton of work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to talk about yourself or move it over?
We run the podcast studio here, Startup Studio Show. We're going to launch after we collect and edit the 32 interviews we had 2 weeks ago. We're going to launch a podcast named Startup Studio Show, and very excited about that. And then I'm also in sales, so I might do something focusing on business-to-business tech sales. And I'm Andrew Usher. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Sorry I took so long. That was
No,
nice.
man. Todd, you up?
Todd.
We're up.
Now Todd is going to give an overview of how to use this setup. It is not difficult at all. The only thing you have to remember is change the battery.